All right, so there's a situation brewing between Dax Harwood of FTR and a certain podcaster who I will not name. I'll give you a hint. He's like 5 feet tall. He hates Jade Cargill because she told him that he was in his mother's basement, and so he made the mother's basement a backdrop. He told Alexa Bliss that because she couldn't wrestle, she probably wasn't good in bed. His cat died, and what's something else I could say? He drives a Mustang, right? Okay, that's all I'm gonna give you. So we start off the situation with this podcaster, and he goes on Twitter and says this, and I quote: Jimmy Jacobs was a writer, of course, for AEW. Y'all may or may not know that, and he quit. So he said Jimmy Jacobs resigned from AEW after Tony Khan publicly stated he was seated as his right-hand man creatively. Oh, yeah? Something doesn't smell right with this one. He is burnt out from what? What are you burnt out by? You work 1 day a week with Tony Khan making up majority of his show and what he wants to see. The report also cited the split was amicable. Of course it was. That's what AEW wants you to believe. Tony Khan hears and sees the discourse about how terrible his on-air product is and needs someone to blame. Tony Khan certainly can't be blamed. No one will publicly admit there is wrong. Everything is fucking great. Though I guarantee if you ask people there, everything is not great. Jimmy Jacobs was fired, and Jimmy Jacobs is the scapegoat for better television. I see it already. Quote, look guys, change is coming. I'm actively making changes. Sure thing, Tony. It starts and ends with you. Everyone's opinion is dust in the wind. Might as well call yourself a McMahon. Similarities are scary. So Dax of FTR came right up under said podcaster's tweet and said, dude, I feel sorry for you. Like, we get that you're a mark and you love that another company makes you feel special. But my God, dude, if I hated something as much as you hate AEW and Tony, I would just stop watching, right? It's almost stalker like how you're infatuated. You are with Tony and this company. You make it pretty obvious that you're a mark. I'm a mark too. But I don't make YouTube channels to yell and scream about an owner of a company not giving me what I want. I just enjoy wrestling. I'm doing real life things like paying my mortgage, making sure bills are taken care of, my tequila cabinet is full. But you're making tweets and videos about the AEW product. And he put a laughing emoji. I'm sure you'll say, oh my God, this guy is riding AEW, or guys, look at him sticking up for the company he works for. What an idiot, right? But my God, man, we get it. You love SmackDown and Raw. Fucking go watch it. Leave us alone. Anyway, Hogg has asked for FTR to be a part of their show. I hope to see you there, brother. And then said podcaster said in response to that, Dax, I actually feel sorry for you that you actually had to write this in the middle of what's going on in your neck of the woods. There's a hurricane. I've had very close friends who lived there who dealt with the ramifications of Helene. I mean this from the bottom of my heart, that I pray for you and your family, and I wish you nothing but the best in your recovery efforts. We love you guys and look forward to getting you and Cash back on TV. And Cash and Dax said, I'm not allowed to tweet. After I donated almost 6 figures to relief efforts, I'm not allowed to tweet about my company. How much have you donated to your friends in Western North Carolina, Tennessee? What have you done, or have you just continued to tweet? Send me your friends' contact info, and I'll make sure they're okay. And then he said podcaster, I never said you weren't allowed. You said what you want. You also don't know how lucrative my quote-unquote business and my channel are. So for you to say it's me yelling and screaming, it sounds stupid. I won't get into it here, but hope to discuss if you truly will be competing for us at Hogg, which is House of Glory, by the way. And that's where it seemed to have stopped. So here's the thing. Because that exchange took place, said podcaster proceeded to make a huge podcast about it and rant and rave and go nuts. So I noticed a few things. I noticed the spin of I'm just being sympathetic with you because I know you're going through a lot and you probably just saying stuff because you're so emotional, and all I'm doing is voicing my opinion. And then it went into, oh well, you're weak and you're emotional because you're a professional wrestler and you're worried about what I'm doing. And this is the stuff that I don't like. These people are human at the end of the day. Like, if I'm sitting here talking shit about your craft, naturally you're going to have something to say. If I'm sitting here talking shit about your boss, maybe you'll have something to say. He's essentially saying Tony Khan is all of these things. Mind you, this man does not know Tony Khan. And I always find it bizarre because I hope I don't come off speaking about Vince McMahon like I know him. I just know of what I've read in court cases and stuff. It is a fact that he had a white and a black dildo named after Brock Lesnar and fucking what is his name? Bobby Lashley. That's a fact. It is a fact that Vince McMahon is probably bisexual and was turned on by all of his wrestlers, and the better they look, the better they get pushed. That's a fact also, or maybe it's subjective. But to sit and say, oh, Tony Khan's doing this, that, and the third because this is what's happening and all this other stuff, like, he speaks in absolutes, which probably upset Dax Harwood, but like, you don't know what's going on and you need to shut the fuck up. That's really what he probably should have said. Or maybe he should just have his partner, Cash Wheeler, just meet old boy in the street and punch him, because Cash Wheeler be knocking motherfuckers out at the bar and don't get in trouble. Maybe that's what needs to be happening. But I don't think there's anything wrong with one of the wrestlers or professionals to tweet and say what they want to say. This happened with Jade Cargill with this guy. Like I said, Alexa Bliss had to check him. The ladies in the AEW locker room had to tell him to back off and calm the fuck down. Like, one thing wrestlers need to understand, when you feed the troll, if you consider him a troll, this is what they want. He extended some type of, oh, I'm sorry about what you're going through, and then he went and made a whole podcast about this interaction. Y'all have to know when to fold him and when to hold him. All Dax needs to do at this point is block him, because if what he's saying is too much for you, just fucking block him, and that way you don't give him content and you don't stress yourself out. It's one thing to criticize the product. It's another thing to be critical. If you're not constructively criticizing, no one wants to hear it. If you're just on there yelling and talking about how terrible shit is, naturally people are going to tune you out. To call somebody soft and, oh my god, you a pussy and all that because they're responding to you is bizarre. And it's a spin that is really disingenuous and gross. So y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments about this whole little situation, which I don't think is going to be the last, because this is what this guy does. And give me your thoughts.